Okay, hello, welcome to your mobility or your strengthening exercises for your hips. Okay, so we've been through your mobility session. Now we're going to start strengthening up through that newfound range of motion that we've done with the mobility with the hips. Okay, so make sure we've done a little bit of a warm up, and we can just get those hips warm by just performing a couple of step overs. Here we're just raising the knee higher than the hip, turning it out to the side, placing the foot down onto the ground, and then moving to the other side. Okay, and we can just do a few of those to make sure that our hips are nice and warm, that synovial fluid has built up, and we've got a little bit of warmth going through there. So do 10-15 repetitions on each side of those to make sure those hips are a little bit warm, synovial fluid is there, and then we can start working on these strength exercises. So the first one we're going to be working at is going to be working on these hip flexor strength. Okay, so we worked on quite a lot of the mobility exercises for this, but also it's really important to work on the strength element, and that's also been a very forgotten part of hip rehabilitation or gaining performance through there. Every time we stride forwards in a running action or any sort of power exercise, we've got a lot of strength coming through here. Now we do need to have that mobility in there, but we also need to have that strength to be able to increase our performance, and this made a massive difference once I introduced this into my training program for my performance, my ease of running, my enjoyment of running, and also just keeping my form up for longer, which was a real benefit for keeping myself injury free and enjoying my trail running more and more. So I'd like to start off with the L-sit. So here what we're going to do is we're going to be in a seated position, okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to have the hands down by the side of us, and to start off nice and easy, okay, we can just have the legs out straight. We're going to keep the hips on the floor, and we're just going to push the body forward slightly to engage the core. So I want your abs a little bit braced and tight there, and then you're just going to lift one leg up and you're going to lift the other leg up. Okay, so we're just trying to keep it straight, and we're trying to lift from the heel up nice and high. Now to increase that tension, all we're going to do is we're going to have the hands down, and we're going to lift your hips off the ground, and when we're going to perform the same exercise whilst maintaining the height in the hips. Okay, now you can do quite a few repetitions on each side, so 10-12 repetitions on each side on this one, and you'll feel those hips starting to really engage there. What you can start to do there is to increase the resistance even more, is come up into that position and then up, and then hold one leg in that isometric form for around about 30 seconds, and then you could do the other side for 30 seconds if you're finding those marches a little bit easier. Okay, so that is the L-sit. We're going to start off with this one, okay, and this really helps to build that strength into those hip flexors. We've got other methods to be able to do this exercise in different ways, but this is a really good body weight only exercise to increase those hip flexor strength. Okay, next one we're going to go for is working through the adductors and the strength on the adductors. Okay, now this is exercise again was hugely beneficial to me, but what we're going to do is we're going to bring the feet in to this position here. Okay, so we're going into that butterfly sort of stretch. Okay, now it's quite good to use some dumbbells. Okay, if you don't have any dumbbells, then you can just use the resistance of your hands to squeeze down and then squeeze back up. Okay, and if you can, getting your back against the wall to keep yourself really nice and upright is a fantastic way of doing this. Okay, if you have got some dumbbells, place those on the top of the knees, and this added weight allows you to go through a bigger range of motion, and then I want you to squeeze up and then drop down and then squeeze back up. And you can see that I'm just loosely holding the dumbbells in position, so the weight of the dumbbells are pushing down. I'm not holding them with my arms, I'm just holding them there to stay in that upright position there. And again, working for about 12-15 repetitions, and that groin strength really makes a big difference to our range of motion, but also our stability work, which keeps us nice and in line, which means that when we're traveling in that functional action, we're not losing any power from left to right, but also in gaining that mobility in that stretch, that if we do overstride or we slip the foot out to the side, then groin injuries become less and less likely the more flexible and the stronger we have onto it. Next one, we're going to go into a 90-90 position. So here we're going to be working the back of the hips into the glute med and the piriformis. So what you're going to do is you're going to get yourself set up right, that the first leg is at 90 degrees and the back leg is at roughly 90 degrees. You're going to twist the body round. To start off with, you might want to hold onto your ankle or just lean forward ever so slightly, because what you're going to do is you're going to pick the whole leg off the ground at the back, okay, so it's hovering off the floor, and then we're going to squeeze back and we're going to do these pushbacks in that 90-90 position, okay. And the better you get, you're going to start lifting yourself upright and hands off the floor. And this one's an incredible powerful one to gain the strength and the mobility through the back of the hips there in this position. So it's really good to experiment and work on this one. I don't want you leaning all the way forwards and cheating out of this, okay? I want you to try and keep upright as much as you possibly can whilst maintaining and lifting up there. So you can see that I tilted slightly, but I'm trying to keep myself upright as much as I possibly can in that position. Back leg is off the floor, and then I'll push the heel back. I'm not just straightening the leg, okay? I'm trying to drive it backwards as much as I can without my hands touching the ground or moving in that position. If you need to have your hands on the ground, that's fine to begin with, don't worry. I'm just showing you what you want to try and progress up to. So a little lean forwards with the hands on ground to begin with, and then as you get better, the more upright and stable you are whilst performing that exercise, the better. 10 repetitions should be enough for that one. It builds and fatigues very quickly on there, but it's incredible for the strength, especially in that rotated position of the hip. Next one, we're going to be in a standing position. Here we're going to be working a little bit of your balance, and this one's a fantastic way of working and firing the glutes, okay? So we're going to do a heel touch. So this is different from the RDL where we're working the hamstring. We're really focusing on the glute strength here. So we're going to stand on one leg and simply we're going to squat down until we touch the heel, okay? So you must touch the heel. This means that we bend our forwards and then come up into that straight position. And that bent forwards means that we engage the glutes even more powerfully. So you come down, you're going to touch, and then you squeeze back up in those glutes, okay? Come down, touch, and then squeeze back up through those glutes. And it's a really good way of building the strength and stability, balance and control through the feet. If you can do this one in bare feet, even better, because then we get a little bit of foot control and working down through those muscles in the feet as well as the ankles, and that can be really incredibly powerful. So I'll show you on the other side. We stand on one leg, we keep going, we lean forward so we can touch the heel, and then we move up into that standing position. I squeeze my glute on the way back up, and I come back down and I'm coming through, okay? Again, really good exercise to practice and perform, working on your balance, but also that glute strength around the stability of those hips. Finally, we're going to go for the abductor. So again, working the side of the hips, which really help offload a lot of the tension which is put down through onto the ITB when running and holding the stability. If we're not using those glutes effectively, then we end up working the lower back too much, and also we end up working the IT too much, getting that too tight and allowing ourselves to get knee problems that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop down into the side. We're going to make sure that we don't lean back too far, we don't lean too far forwards, so we're just going to have a nice straight position lying on the heel, and then we're going to drive straight up and back down again, and focusing and concentrating on working that one, okay? And here we're going to go for a little bit of a hold as well. So we're going to go for about 12 repetitions, and then on that last one we're going to come up, we're going to hold it nice and straight, and I just want you to hold it for as long as you possibly can before the leg drops away, okay? So it's a little bit of a challenge. Just on that last repetition, I want you to hold that on as hard as you can. So I'll just show you on the other side. Again, we're going to lie down, make ourselves nice and straight, and we're going to drive up through the heel in that position where we're feeling that working all the way down, okay? Do all your 10-12 repetitions in a nice flat position, and then that last one you're going to hold that rep for as long as you can before that foot suddenly drops away and fatigues, okay? Great stuff. So that's a fantastic little routine to really gain our strength mobility of those hips, allowing ourselves to be really nice and upright and core working efficiently, which will offload the lower back, offload the knees, and allow ourselves to move much more functionally with a lot more strength, which will just increase our enjoyment and massively reduce the risk of injury, which will just give us that bulletproofness that we are seeking on this program. Okay, good luck with it, take care, and we'll speak soon.